What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today we are swatching the latest or this year's Diamine Inkvent Calendar. This year is a teal color. I was looking up online how many there have been. This is number 6. There's been red, blue, green, purple, black, and then now this teal color. There's also been a green, red, blue, green, purple, black, and teal. Yeah, I think that's all of them. So, just quick comparison with the Colorvent calendar. This one is $120, and actually comes with one full-size ink, which is day 25, and it's a full 30 milliliter bottle. Comparing the packaging of the Colorvent does feel a little bit more substantial, in my opinion, just because the bottles are glass. It does feel heavier. Even the packaging, the interior is probably a little bit of, maybe not better quality, but it's just a little bit more substantial. When looking at the Diamine one, it's just all of the bottles are plastic, and they all live in this like thin plastic sleeve insert, which is not as strong as the Colorvent ones. One thing that I just don't like about the Diamine calendar is that each individual bottle is shrink wrapped in this like really tight plastic sleeve, and it does take like at least 30 minutes to an hour of opening up all of those little bottles. I was using my scissors, and my fingers were sore, but that was yesterday, so now like I'm ready. It's a new day, so I feel better. And I don't know if they need to do that, because I don't think, personally, I haven't seen any issues with any of the inks leaking, and I'm not sure I've heard of anybody else having that, so I don't think that's required. But they probably just want to be safe. So anyway, I was looking at the colors, and there's a lot more variety than Colorvent. If you remember, Colorvent only had 4 shimmering colors and then a shimmering mix. So this one, I was looking at the list of like the properties on the side of the bottle, and yeah, it's a little bit interesting. So anyway, let's get to swatching. I'm going to turn you around so we can look at the swatches. All right, everyone, we are here now. As per usual, I will be using my Kakimori brass dip pen with my Kaleidocraft Prints nib holder. Super cool matchup, super cool combination of the products. And I will be using my Musubi Rasa notebook, which I already laid out with my swatch spots for all of the inks. And last time I failed to mention, but I am using a roller ball to label the inks, just because it does lay down a nice little color. So let's get to swatching, starting with day 1. Starting super strong with Celestial Skies, because this is a shimmer. So already day 1, and we are with shimmer. Okay, here is a little close-up. That's going to look pretty. It's a tealy color with what almost reminds me of Emerald de Chivor ink. It's a little sheeny. I see gold and green, so we'll see how that looks after it's dry. Moving on to day number 2, this is Energy, and this is a sheening ink. Here is Energy, friends. This is still like drying, but the sheen is a very green sheen. You can probably start to see a little bit of that on your screens. I thought it would be Actually, I thought it would be more of a red sheen, but that's kind of cool. Continuing with day 3, this is Carousel, and this is a pigment ink, which if I remember correctly, pigment inks are not supposed to go in fountain pens, so these are just more for calligraphy nibs. But you know, if I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments so that anybody else wondering the same thing can be better informed. That was just my understanding. So thankfully we are using our dip pen. So Carousel pigment. Here is a close-up of that ink. It's still drying, but it's a very solid red. It almost looks like a standard color, no shading. Following up with day 4, this is Smoky Tobacco, and this is a scented ink. This is our first scented ink of this calendar. It does smell nice. I don't get a strong hint of tobacco, not in my opinion, but it's nice. I don't know if I care too much for this color, friends. I've seen more interesting browns. This is almost drying to a more of an ashy brown, which I really do not care for. But you know, it's an interesting color just because of the smell. Moving on to day 5, we have Marie Rose, which is a standard color. Here's a close-up of that color, friends. This is Marie Rose, and more of a toasty beige color. Goes down a little bit yellow, but is, I don't know, I see a little bit more yellow sheen almost. I don't know, maybe it's the ink drying. Moving on to day 6, this is Fir Fog, and this is a chameleon ink. So a chameleon ink is a shimmer that has basically 2 colors. Here is a close-up of that swatch, friends. It's definitely more of a like a blue-green color. It's actually really pretty. I really like that, and there's enough shimmer, so we'll see what that. I'm trying to see if you can see both colors of the shimmer. Hopefully you can. Following up with day 7, this is Blush, a standard ink. Here is a close-up of that, friends. Not bad at all. There seems to be a little bit of like yellow shading going on, which is kind of pretty. Yeah. Following up with day 8, this is Dreamcatcher, and this is labeled Extreme Sheen. Okay, that one is very fun. Look at that energy. You see that sheen over there, that green? That's pretty. So we'll see what this extreme sheen looks like here in a few. Moving on to day 9, this is Bittersweet, and this is labeled as a standard color. Here is Bittersweet, friends. A little close-up, more of a minty color. Nice little variety. Following up with day 10, this is Nostalgia, and this is a chameleon color, so also a shimmer with 2 colors. Looks like red and yellow. Here is Nostalgia, friends. At first I thought it was going to be more of like a brown, but it's almost like a blue-black type of color with a hint of like magenta to make it a little bit more on the brownish side. It's actually kind of cool. It's not bad at all. It's interesting. I like the chameleon shimmer. Following up with day 11, this is Brrr, and this is a pigment shimmer. So that's interesting. That's the first pigment shimmer that we have, which isn't shimmer a pigment? Here is a close-up of that. It's really pretty, really frosty. I'm not sure what the pigment is doing. Is it giving it more of a solid color? For day 12, we are looking at Bubbly, which is a shimmer color, shimmer ink. There is Bubbly, friends. More of a olive with gold shimmer. At first I wasn't too into it. I didn't care much for it, but the shimmer does add a little bit to it. So there's that. Following up with day 13, Molten Basalt. I think that's how you say it. A standard color. And here is a close-up of day 13. Looks like a navy color with a slight bit of sheen, probably due to the ink properties, but not being called out as such. Dreamcatcher, which was the extreme sheen, it still looks pretty wet, and you can see the sheen. But I'm assuming it's going to be drying here soon. It reminds me of those like Birmingham Pen Company inks that are really, really sheeny. So that's probably what they mean. Moving on to day 14, this is Mittens, and this is a pigment ink. All right, friends, here is a close-up of Mittens. Yeah, I don't know. It's there. It's very rosy. Moving on to day 15, this is Frostbite, and this is a shimmer color. Here is a close-up of Frostbite. It's still drying. I think I put a lot on there. It does remind me a little bit of Molten Basalt, just because it's like, it gives me blue. Moving on to day 16, we have Ruby Taffeta, a chameleon color. Here is a close-up of Ruby Taffeta. I like how deep this red is. I probably didn't get as much of the shimmer, but that's okay. Moving on to day 17, this is Gala, a standard color. Here is a close-up of Gala, friends. I love that. That's super pretty. It even it appears to shade between like a light lilac and pink. I really like it. It's really cute compared to everything else. I feel like we've gotten some very serious colors. Like there's some deep blues and like a few purples over here and like even a few browns. So I really enjoy that. Moving on to day 18, we have Laurel, which is described as an extreme sheen. Here is a close-up of Laurel. It's still drying because there's quite a bit of ink on there, but you can see how deep that green is. That's definitely giving Christmas for me. '19 is Overcast, a standard color. There's a close-up of Overcast. That's really pretty. It's nice and soft. And something I've noticed is we haven't gotten a lot of illegible colors. Like that's, although this is a light, I'm sure it will be beautiful in a pen. For day 20, we have Ambience, and this is a chameleon color. Here is a picture of Ambience. That's pretty. That's really something else. It's a peachy orange color with like the chameleon shimmer. So far I'm only getting more of gold, but that's pretty. Moving on to day 21, this is Chaos, and this is an extreme sheen. This is our third extreme sheen. Alrighty, friends, here is a close-up of Chaos. One thing about these sheens is that they do glide on the page, so they're kind of fun to swatch. We'll see here in a few swatches what that looks like. But it's leaning more of like a deep eggplant type of color. And it looks like the sheen is green. Moving on to day 22, this is Pineapple Spritz, and this is a pigment chameleon, which we had pigment and shimmer, but now this is pigment, but the shimmer is chameleon. That's interesting. Pineapple Spritz. Here's a close-up of Pineapple Spritz. That's really fun, friends. That's really interesting. Very different from what we have seen so far. It goes down very yellow. So I assume the pigment is probably to make it even more legible. So we'll see what the chameleon shimmer looks here in a few, but that's cool. Moving on to day 23, this is Let It Snow, and this is a chameleon ink. It looks like purple and blue. There is a close-up of Let It Snow. I like this color because I like the previous color, and I just like how it just kept going on to something interesting. Yeah, we'll see. It's still drying, but it's got chameleon shimmer, so that's kind of cool. For day 24, we have Antler, which is a pigment ink. Here's a close-up of Antler. It's like a red leaning brown, red leaning taupe, I would say. Yeah, I guess I don't know what the pigment is doing there, but sure. So let's check our last and final ink. On Christmas Day, you will be opening, oh, that's funny, Myrrh the Merrier. And this is a shimmer and sheen and a full 30 milliliter bottle. Alrighty friends, here's a close-up of that last swatch. That's really pretty. A very dark teal. That's really pretty. I like the shimmer. Also, it's like a deep blue, like a royal blue type of shimmer. The sheen is a reddish sheen. Here is Chaos again, that brownish or like that eggplant brown with green sheen. This really first one was a really nice start to the calendar, Celestial Skies. That's really pretty. And then you go into Energy with that purple with green sheen. Very Halloweenish, honestly. And then Carousel with that pigment. There's nice variety here, friends. I'm really enjoying the pineapple spritz. I'm not a big fan of how it's drying, but that's okay. I would love to see that in a pen. I really like Gala just because it does stand out amongst all of the colors, and you can see just from the top there's quite a few of dark colors, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 really dark colors. Nice variety. I don't think I'm here for the Smoky Tobacco. I just don't care for it too much. I would love to read your thoughts, opinions, concerns, any suggestions, any ideas of what you could improve, what could be different. This was the Inkvent Calendar. And here is the Diamine calendar, which the colors shouldn't be compared because they're two different companies, right? But which do you like better? I know I read some comments that there were a few light colors, like too many light colors in here that probably wouldn't be legible, where this one goes on too many dark colors, right? In my opinion. So I don't know. Let me know. Let me know your top favorites, your least favorites, and what would you change. I think we only got 2 scented because I feel like this is a scented ink, but that one's definitely marked as a scented ink. And here again is that last day. I'm gonna see if I can go over a little lower, see if we can get a little bit more variety. But yeah, anyway friends, thank you again for joining me on this other video. swatching the Diamine calendar. I would love to read any of your thoughts. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. And again, this was also possible due to you guys using my coupon with Atlas. As a reminder, it's ERICK10 when you check out. Thank you so much, and I will catch you again later. Bye bye.